Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another podcast episode. My name is Alicia Gogan, the host of the Globe Seekers podcast, where I help you expand your mind and become more self-aware so that you can glow up into the best version of yourself. Hi, how are we doing? I just came here to remind you guys of something. I want to remind you that the new version of you / the things that you are working towards or you're wanting or you're asking for is right around the corner, and I need you to not give up. Okay, listen. When we are wanting things in our lives, it requires us to essentially become a new version of us, whether that's results in the gym, changing your body, growing your hair, getting a new job, bringing in more money, viewing yourself in a new way in terms of maybe you want to change your self-concept, you want to change the beliefs that you hold about yourself, you want to step into this new identity when it comes to how you are in relationships, knowing your worth more, whatever it is, that is going to require you to change, and it's going to require some time. And I think when we are set on changing something about us, we want to go on a self-love journey, we want to change the beliefs that we hold about ourselves, we want to get into the gym, we want to go on this new journey. We get really excited, we get really motivated, we feel, for the most part, really good. Maybe we have a lot of fuel from having a lot of lows in our lives, and we are on that journey. And then what happens is life gets in the way a little bit. Sometimes, for the most part, actually, it's ourselves, where, you know, maybe we're waking up and we didn't have the same energy as we did when we first wanted to start this journey, or our negative beliefs and our negative thoughts start to come up, our second guessing of if we're doing this right, or if it's going to change, or if we're going to get the things that we want in our lives. All of this stuff comes up. Or maybe we're still on the journey and we're doing the work, the habits, the mindset stuff, but nothing seems to change. And that's where we always give up. And I think in our lives right now, at least mine and most likely yours, something is brewing deeper than it really has, which is really going to require us to stay strong and continue to persist through things that are either not feeling good or aren't changing yet, or even if they do feel good, really solidifying the things and the person that we want to be through this time. Like, if we want dream life, relationship, money, better health, whatever, it's gonna require you moving past week 2 of doing something. Okay, so week 1, you're like super hyped, like I said, and you're doing the journey. And then week 2, you're kind of like all over the place because maybe you're not believing things and you're kind of like slacking on your goals and this, that. Like, we need to get past week 2, week 3, maybe even week 4. Who knows? Things don't have to take a long time, but really, we have to move past this sometimes low that we go through. And so I want to give you a few tips if you feel like you're on this verge of second guessing, you're on this verge of giving up. Maybe you kind of have been slacking on some things right now. I want to give you some tips because in order for you to truly be the person that you are dreaming of being, you have to become a new version of you. It doesn't need to be hard. It doesn't need to be this huge challenge. It doesn't need to be this like big thing, but it does require you to continue to push through those quote unquote lows, if you will. And one thing I would like to say is, if you find yourself feeling like you want to give up, or you feel like you're somebody who always cycles through things very quickly, like you start something, you stop, we live in a generation, a world where everything is so fast-paced and quick, and there's a new thing popping up every 3 seconds. There's a new diet you could do. There's a new job, like career path that you could take. There's a new topic you could be talking about. There's a new person over here. Grass is always greener. This, that, and the third. There's always something. So it's almost unfortunate in a way, but understand that you're not alone if you feel like it's hard sometimes to be consistent with things. Now, I know some people like genuinely, maybe you have ADHD, or maybe, I don't know, like you have certain things that kind of make it a little bit harder for you to stay on something. But I want you to do your best to remind yourself that you are human, you're not alone, but you also can do this. And it just takes a little bit more mental strength from you, a little bit more of a commitment to yourself to persist through all of the distractions and all of the things in the world that are kind of wanting to pull you in every other sort of way. So wherever you are on your journey, whether you're just starting, you're midway through, you've just given up, or you're starting again, whatever it is, I want you to commit to having tunnel vision. So this is obviously dependent on what it is that you're currently trying to manifest or bring into your life. I mean, we don't have to use the word manifest, but I just like using that word, but change in your life, whether that is something to do with results in the gym or having a new self-concept, looking at yourself like you are amazing, you are worthy, you are chosen, life gets to be easy, whatever it is that you are wanting to persist through. I want you to have tunnel vision on that until it becomes known to you that this is who you are and it's getting reflected into your life. And I said this in my last podcast episode. Why are we giving up when we haven't even seen the results? Like, why are we giving up in the gym when we haven't seen the results? Why are we giving up on love when we haven't seen those results? Why are we giving up on our dream jobs when we haven't even really actually been that person or changed or thought better thoughts about ourselves? Even when it comes to like, if you want to love yourself more, you want to just have a new self-concept, do you think that having a morning practice of self-love affirmations for 2 days is going to reverse the self-hate that you continuously loop on for years and years and years? Like, we shouldn't be giving up so quickly. And I understand that sometimes it's not easy to continue to move forward when you don't see things, but I just want to kind of remind you, why are you giving up when you actually haven't even seen the results, you know? So bringing it back to having tunnel vision, create a consistent routine for you. And I'll give you an example when it comes to maybe having better self-talk. You want to love yourself more. You want to have like just positive thoughts about how you are as a person and what you get to have in your life. I want you to commit every single morning to a journal practice. I want you to commit to a midday practice where you're doing a self-love meditation, and at night you're doing a self-love meditation. Every time you get triggered, you're working on your thoughts. Like, literally create and structure a day where it's tunnel vision. This is not about obsessing over the thing, because that's what I want to talk about as well, but really support yourself in the way that you need, depending on what it is that you want in your life. Even when it comes to health and wellness, you know, maybe you can't do the same workout every single day, but how are you structuring your days so that you're able to hit that movement goal? You're creating space for yourself where that is your number one priority, is you moving your body, or your number one priority is your mindset. And if we're talking about mindset work, which I feel like a lot of you guys are interested in, and so am I'm always working on my mindset and working on the thoughts that I'm telling myself about what I can have in my life. That requires a lot of work, because naturally you're always just running and looping old beliefs based off of your past and everything before you. So if you want to look at yourself in a new way, it is going to require you to consistently, you know, flip the thought that you have from negative to positive. And that means having some pillars and groundedness in your day to really have a practice of changing the negative self-talk that you have. So again, depending on the goal that you have, I really want you to have tunnel vision. And I want you to have tunnel vision even when things are going good. And this is where we really tend to fall off. You know, if you're on week 2 of on a self-love journey, or you're week 2 of health and wellness, or week 2 of working on a new like business idea or whatever, and you're feeling kind of good and you kind of slack on your journal practice, or you slack on, oh, okay, I'm not going to go to the gym today because, I have been going this is the time where I really want you to dial in, because this is where it matters, especially when it does come to mindset work. But honestly, when it comes to habits and change in general, there's going to be a level of you persisting and staying in that flow. And you know what? I'll say one more example, bringing it back to when I wrote my book, The Ultimate Glow Up Guide. Okay, writing a book can be very challenging, even if you know exactly what you want to write. And for me, for the most part, I knew the topics that I wanted to talk about. I really had a blueprint and a flow in which I wanted the book to go. But even though I knew how I wanted the book to look and feel and be and sound and everything, I had to persist, and basically every single day, like obviously there's a few days throughout the writing process, which was about a solid 6 months, where I just couldn't like find the time and do it. But I really committed to waking up every day, even if it was at night or during the day, whatever, finding the time to write, because I knew if I have a day where I'm not writing, it's gonna be harder for me to get back in the flow of writing. Even though like I know what the book is about and I know what I'm talking about, I have to, when I come back to writing, if I spend like a few days not writing, I forget. There's just things that you forget. You have to go through the last chapter to really get back into the flow of writing. And so it's easier if I just stay consistent with things. And whatever it is that you're going through in your life, especially when you are trying to change though, it is so important that you stay in that flow until it becomes your reality, until it becomes your identity, until it becomes you wake up every morning and it's like a normal, natural thing that you're going to the gym. It doesn't matter when you're going. It's just you're somebody who identifies as somebody who moves their body every single day. Like I don't have to persist in a new identity when it comes to like going on a hot girl walk, because that's a natural thing that I do now. But at one point in my life, it was not natural for me to just know that throughout the day, at some point, I'm going to be going for a walk because this is what I want and need to do for my body. And the same thing goes with like any sort of mindset work or meditations, taking care of yourself, anything. So just remind yourself when you are trying to change, there is a period of time where it requires you to really commit, even when you are feeling good, like, oh, I don't really need to do it. Just do it anyway so that it becomes solidified. So your identity changes and then you move through the world as being somebody who just does this and you don't have to think about it. And I even think about this when it comes to identity in terms of, I always use this example. I don't know where I got this example from, but being a smoker, being a smoker. I was never a smoker, but I think about this in terms of, when you are a non-smoker, you don't wake up every day and have to fight the battle of not smoking or have 2 cigarettes instead of 3. Like you don't have to do that because it's just not a part of your identity. So the reason why I'm saying that is because like when you identify as somebody who just doesn't smoke, it's not like you have to wake up every day and try to be somebody who doesn't do that. But at first, when you are changing your identity and you're changing your life, it is going to require you to persist. The last thing that I'll say about this is creating some sort of toolkit for yourself, because at least for me, I think when I'm changing, whether that's my mindset or I want to go on a health and fitness journey, even though like I no longer really go on health and fitness journeys because it's just kind of a part of my identity. But when I did, and what I've learned is every day is kind of going to be different. So having a toolkit of things you can like pull from to keep your mind where you want it to be or to keep your habits where you want it to be is helpful. So with workouts, I have different types of workouts that I do, but every single day I'm moving my body. So I'm doing hot girl walks, I'm doing hot yoga, I'm doing Pilates, I'm doing weight training, I'm like stretching, I'm doing cardio. I have a toolkit of things that work for me. I'm not a runner. Actually, sometimes I do spin, but like there's certain things that I don't do and there's certain things that I do that are in my toolkit that allow me to stay consistent. Same thing with mindset work. I do morning meditations, guided meditations. I sleep with sleep affirmations on. I will walk sometimes during my like hot girl walks where I'm like listening to affirmations. I do journal practices. I speak out loud to myself. I have mentorship. I go to therapy. I have all of these things that really support me into switching into this new role or supporting me in whatever I need. So thinking about the things that you have access to, thinking about the things that you can add into your toolkit. Everyone is going to be unique and you don't need to have a lot of money when it comes back to like the workouts or therapy and stuff. Those are just things that I have access to and I can do and support myself. But I did all of this stuff when I didn't have money to go to therapy and I didn't have money to go to Pilates. You need to be resourceful and use what you have and remind yourself that you can do that. Okay, another obstacle I think gets in our ways is the days that feel really crappy or the days where you're recognizing that nothing is changing or the days that you see the opposite of what you want to be happening in your life in regards to your manifestation or something that you want to change. So you're wanting more money, but then you lose a job opportunity, or you're wanting to see change in your body and you're realizing like nothing changed on the scale, or you're really like hoping for people to reflect back to you what you have been working on in terms of confidence and loving yourself. And then you get the opposite, like somebody's rejecting you or somebody's like not treating you the way that you're really dying to be treated. I want you to look at everything that is making you feel like crap or everything that you think is not working out as evidence that things are moving and changing in your favor versus everything is just denial and not working out. And I know it feels like it's delusion. It doesn't feel logical or it doesn't sound logical when you're like, so how am I going to look at the fact that I just lost my job as confirmation that I'm getting exactly what I want? How is that going to like really help? But it really is. This is how I look at it, I guess. When something is not going right in your life, whether relationship is breaking down or the job is not working out, these things usually require you to maybe come back into yourself, learn what is going on, assessing the situation. But really and truly, do we ever really lose the thing that is fully meant for us and that we fully want? And now you might be like, oh my God, but I need that job, or oh my God, I need that relationship. But what you tend to find when the reality is maybe you don't have that situation right now. When you come back to yourself and you pour into yourself and you do that self-work if needed when it comes to a relationship, or if you really, take a deep look at what went wrong in this job opportunity and maybe where do I want to go in my future, this creates so much more expansion. And what you will find is these are the things that you needed, the puzzle pieces that you needed for the biggest puzzle piece that you actually are really dreaming of. And maybe you were keeping small, maybe you weren't getting your needs met fully, whatever it is. So even if you think it's like, oh my God, no, I really need this, whatever, I want you to do your best to release the attachment that you have on that thing right in this moment. This is not to mean that you don't deserve to have good things in your life. It's not about that, but release that attachment a little bit and see, okay, how could this situation be actually helping me right now? And maybe you will not be able to find it, and that's fine, just like for the moment. But when something is not working out, I really need you to adopt the mindset of amazing. This is bringing me exactly where I want in my life. And I think about this a lot when it comes to relationships. Like, when the breakup is happening or something shitty is happening, it's like obviously doesn't feel good. But realistically, when let's say you're not getting treated right in a relationship, this just shows you what you do want in a relationship. I don't want to be treated like X, Y, and Z. I don't want to feel anxious all the time. I don't want to feel like whatever it is. I don't want to feel like my job is not secure, or I don't want to feel like I'm not getting paid enough, or whatever the situation is. So when you are seeing things in your reality that are not really reflecting the things that you're trying to persist through, remind yourself, you're just getting closer. Do not use shitty circumstances and things that are all messy right now to deter you. And I used the example in last week's episode of how the universe is always moving mountains for you. Movement is always happening, even if you do not see it. But sometimes when you are wanting a new version of life, of you, essentially, it requires a little bit of messiness. It requires the universe to move the mountain from A to B. And in the middle, it's going to be a little messy sometimes. There's going to be rocks falling everywhere. It's not going to be looking pretty, but you are so hyper-focused on everything that looks like crap right now. I want you to detach from that, understand that things are moving, things will work out. It's not the end of the world. I am safe. I am loved. I am supported. Let me put my focus on myself. Let me put my focus on the things that I can work on right now. Let me put my focus on still becoming the person that I know that I can be, even if it doesn't feel like it right now and I don't believe it's happening. Whatever, you're going back to your tunnel vision. I promise you, things will change. The universe is really responding to the energy that you are putting out in your life. Now, this brings me to the next thing that is a lot to do with old beliefs and negative self-talk and feeling like you're not getting what you want. At the end of the day, a lot of us go through life thinking very negatively, whether we know it or not, but a lot of us are pretty aware that we are. And so when you are on a journey of changing and evolving, you're gonna have thoughts sometimes, at least it happens for me, of like am I being delusional by thinking that I could actually become a new version of me, or that things are going to change? Like you're doubting, you're questioning whether you're going to get these things or things are going to change. And the thing that I do in these moments is remind myself that I didn't come here to live out crappy beliefs and negative self-talk and to not get what I want in my life. It just feels not normal to think or like believe that, because I've lived all of my life in limiting beliefs and feeling like I can't have what I want and this, that, and the third. So when you recognize yourself going into the second guessing, wanting to give up, oh, I can't get what I want, this seems too uncomfortable to feel like I am deserving of anything that I want, like all the positive, beautiful things, remind yourself that you are not being delusional. You are just changing the way that you move through life. And the old story is not your story anymore. Your old self-concept, your old beliefs, thank you so much, but I don't need it anymore. And this is kind of how I look at it, is you have the old version of you, the old self-concept, the one that feels shitty about herself all the time, the one that thinks that she can't get what she wants and that, you know, everything happens to her and she can't create her own reality. And then the new one that you're trying to persist in, and like self-loving, more confident, loving herself more, believing she can get whatever she wants. You're in the in-between right now, right? So some of the tips that I already gave you, I'm really trying to like ground you into bringing yourself more into that self-concept. But there's going to be times where you want to like kind of go back into the old version of you because it's normal. You have lived all of your life like that. So it almost feels delusional for you to kind of like move into this new self-concept. But when you find yourself wavering, kind of going back into the old, remind yourself that it's literally all old limiting beliefs. It is not your truth anymore. And thank your old self-concept. Thank your old version of you for getting you to everywhere that you have been in your life. Like, we don't want to look at our old selves as you're so wrong and like bad and whatever, because at the end of the day, like this self-concept, the way we've moved through our lives, it's really kept us safe in a lot of ways. But understand, he is no longer needed. I love you. Thank you. We're going to go into this direction. I'm going to take my inner child's hand that is really just covered with all of this limiting belief and crappy circumstances and all this, you know, shit that's really not even yours. Pull your inner child out of that and bring her with you, or he with you, to this new self-concept, because this old self-concept and all of these crappy beliefs about yourself and thinking that you can't get what you want and whatever, none of this was even your truth. And that's what I want you to remind yourself. When you feel like you're going back into the old self concept, whatever, remind yourself that's not you. That is not you. You are trained by people, places, circumstances, your environment, life, society is constantly always telling you you're not enough. You should feel like crap about yourself. You can't get what you want. Everything has to be hard. You're not good enough, this, that, and the third. But understand that is not you. That programming is not who you are to your core. And that is why you continue to always try to become a new version of you. And you're always trying to level up and you're going in the direction of what feels good, because deep down in your heart of hearts, AKA in my personal opinion, your inner child is somewhere within that old self-concept that knows its truth, that wants to be just expansive and wants to move into this self-concept, this new version of you. Allow her to remind her, AKA yourself, remind yourself that the new version of you, everything over here that feels so like amazing and beautiful and you can create what you want, manifestation, all that, it is right. It is your birthright. But unfortunately, that's been taken away in many aspects of many of our lives, majority of our lives. That's what we are. A lot of us are, what we're doing here is uncovering who we truly are and getting rid of all this programming. And, you know, it does feel hard at some points, but I think what helps me not feel like I'm just being delusional and it's like, oh, I can't have what I want, is just reminding myself like I'm 28. I'm turning 29 in November of this year, but I have been living in this self-concept, these negative beliefs for all of my life. Now, mind you, as I grew up, I started to shed those, you know, self-criticizing voices in my head from parents or people who were rude to me or information online that wasn't fully like helpful for me, every single thing. And I talk a lot about that in my book, by the way, The Ultimate Glow Up Guide. But, you know, it's taken a little bit for me to shed those layers of me, but I have been. And the more I want to become a new version of me, it requires me to then shed another layer of self-hate, another layer of questioning whether I can get what I want, all that. So when you are changing, understand there's gonna be a period of you being like, ooh, the new self-concept, the new world, the new version of me does not feel solid. It doesn't feel real. It feels very delusional to live in this. Yeah, and you know why? Because that doesn't feel safe for you, because what feels more safe is your old self-concept, is your negative beliefs. But we don't want to live in a world or a body or a mindset where thinking unfavorable things about us is what is safe. And again, we can send love, compassion to the part of us that, you know, became this person because it had to. And that was just what happened in our lives. But we no longer need to do that. But it's going to require you almost being your higher self and reminding yourself in those moments when you do fall back into the shitty thoughts or the thinking that you're not good enough or I can't get what I want or questioning whether you're really going to get what you want. Nope. This is just all limiting programming. It's not actually my truth. And where I need to go and what I know is true about myself is the better self-belief, self-concept, new habits, anything. And you can even think about this in terms of habits. Like, this is pretty easy for us to think about in habits is like, what's good for us? Moving today or not moving today? Eating the high protein, rich, nourishing, beautiful meal with vegetables or fruits, like all that kind of stuff, or eating McDonald's. Obviously, eating the healthy, beautiful, amazing food is better for us. So, but there is times where we genuinely think eating the McDonald's, eating the crappy food, thinking shitty thoughts about ourselves, oh, I can't get what I want, is the better option for us. And it's really not. It doesn't mean that you have to live a life where you're being perfect, you always have good thoughts, or you're always eating super clean, like things like that. Obviously not. We don't need to be perfect, but reminding yourself, well, what is the better option for me? What is the most self-loving thing that I can do for myself? Obviously, it's to eat the food that's going to really nourish us and energize us. Obviously, it's thinking better thoughts about ourselves as if, we are worthy of love and we are worthy of going for our dream life and that we can do whatever it is that we came here to do. And even thinking about it in terms of how would you speak, I should say, how would you speak to a 3-year-old? Would you tell her or him, you can't have what you want and you're not lovable and you have to do X, Y, and Z in order to even prove yourself that you're worthy of love and this, that? No, you wouldn't. But unfortunately, most likely in your life somewhere, somebody told you that. And quite frankly, it's amalgamation of things. School, cliques, people having their own opinions about this, that, and the third. This is how you should look and this is how you should dress and this is how you should act. Nope, I'm good. Thank you. I'm going to be myself. And one little affirmation I like to speak out or even write when I find myself going into the spiral of negativity, I say to myself, this is not the real me. This is not the real me. You spiraling and having anxious thoughts and overthinking and not thinking you're good enough, that is not the real you. And you need to remind yourself of that every single time you go there. Now, another, reminder that is good on the journey of really becoming a new version of you is to detach. Now, it's almost completely opposite of what I said when it comes to have tunnel vision, but there is a level of obsession that you do not need to have that puts you in this identity mindset of overthinking the situation too much and needing things to change too much. You want to have a solid routine of working on your mindset, going to the gym, moving your body, taking care of yourself, whatever it is, but you don't need to then continue to move through life thinking about the gym after you've gone to the gym, right? Or, thinking about your goals every single second over and over and over, or your dream relationship over and over and over and over and over again all day, every single day, because that is really just a reflection of you not believing or trusting that you're going to get the thing. So we want to have a level of trust and knowing that we are getting what we want. We're putting in the work. We're changing our mindsets. We're doing our routines and we're letting it go because we know that we are okay with it not even being in the 3D reality in a way. The change has not occurred, but that's fine because it's happening. It's already on our way. And also we're residing in this energy of feminine energy of it's fine. I'm good. I'm here. I have everything that I need. I am okay. And I think a question that you can ask yourself is, what would you be doing if you already had the thing? What would you be thinking? What would you be doing with your time? Would you be obsessing over a person if you already had the dream relationship? Would you be going throughout your day being anxious and wondering and waiting and da-da-da? No, you wouldn't, right? Even when it comes to your body or body image or the goals that you have for whatever, fitness, would you really be thinking about the gym 100,000 times over and all your meals and wondering when your body's going to change and checking the weight on the scale and constantly consuming it, everything like that? No, you wouldn't. You would have your dream body. What would you be doing if you had your dream body? What would you be doing if you had your dream job, your dream life, your dream whatever? So just kind of snapping yourself back into reality sometimes and asking yourself the question of, am I being a little too obsessive about this thing? And if I am, how do I drop back into trusting and knowing that it's coming? And really what you're doing when you're trusting and knowing that it's coming is you're identifying as being that person. You're moving through life as if you already have the body, as if you already have the job or whatever. And I always think about it when it comes to being a YouTuber. Yes, you can have goals and you have a certain vision for your life, but at the end of the day, you wake up and you be that YouTuber. You wake up and you film and you record and you edit and you show up as that person. You don't sit there all day and obsess over what your life is going to look like and when you're going to get the views and when you're going to get the money, and you're obsessing over dream boards every single day. You're talking about it to friends and oh my God, but you haven't taken any action. This comes down to detaching from whatever it is, knowing that it's going to happen, and become that person. And the last thing that I think is really helpful when you're going through this stage of change and you're about to get around that corner, girls, guys, I know that it feels like the corner is never coming, but it is there, okay? What is very helpful, and it's been helpful for me, is to acknowledge that you are right around the corner, that you are making progress, and that you are doing it. You are in the midst of it. You are in the thick of it. And I think that this is just an important part of change. Really, when you think about it, acknowledgement, reward, celebration, a reminder. Guess what? Today I woke up and I did my affirmations and I did my journal practice and I moved my body and I did these things even when I didn't believe I could do it. I did these things when I felt like shit. I did this thing even when I was happy and I felt like I didn't need to do it. I did it anyways. Like, you have to really be your own best friend, your own supporter, your own advocate, your own everything, because I think that this is the thing that really keeps you moving forward. And I think about this in terms of a child. When a child is doing something or learning how to do something for the first time, what does that child need? That child needs a lot of affirmation, support. You can do it. You've got this. You can do it. And the more times you give a child a little bit more reassurance, affirmation, you did an amazing job, naturally, it's going to be motivated to do that again. Versus you could do it the other way, which is sometimes this is how we've gotten raised. At least the way that I was raised was no acknowledgement at all. Just do it because you have to do it. And I'm not celebrating anything about you, but you have to do it. You could genuinely force change on somebody through manipulation, through being very mean and really just not using your power in a way that's helpful, and you can elicit change, but that change is not going to stick. The moment that person is not under your tyranny, you know what that person is going to do? Run away, try and figure out how the F to get out of here, hates being here, doesn't want to be here anymore. And I know that to be true because the way that my dad tried to teach me how to do things versus the way that my mom, not even taught, I guess, got me to do things, completely different. Even when it comes to cleaning, okay? I use this example a lot. My dad was such a tyrant. And honestly, I send my dad so much love and compassion. And he has passed away now. But I get it. He came from a very strict household. It's not about condoning all the trauma and all of the shitty stuff that's been happening or happened in my life or, other people's lives, that. But it's just I understand. But bringing it back, he was really strict on me to the point where he would you have to do 3 hours of freaking chores that are literally not even actually gonna help you in any sort of way. And I'm not going to explain to you why you need to do this, and I'm not going to help you, and I'm just going to yell at you until you do it. And it's going to be the most not fun thing ever. And listen, there is a healthy level of discipline and masculine energy that we need in the household, especially from our fathers. Okay. I'm not trying to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think that he gave me a lot of discipline in many aspects, but a lot of it was really, really not enjoyable. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I really hated doing a lot of things based off of how he taught me to do them or how he got me to do certain things in my life. I dreaded things. I dreaded cleaning. I dreaded being at home. I dreaded being around him. I dreaded so many things just because of the energy and the way that he was kind of doing things or, trying to get me to do things in some aspects. There was many times where I didn't dread him. I just want to say that because I feel like I use him as an example a lot, and there was many beautiful aspects of my father. He was such a cool, very, very cool guy. I feel like I have a lot of cool energy from him. Anyways, okay, so there's that. But then my mom is completely like opposite. She's very loving, very supportive, very like, I don't know, just inspiring and just fun and whatever. And I feel like sometimes our moms are definitely like that. And when it came to cleaning, she would clean with me. She would create this whole routine. She would be like, okay, we're going to listen to music. We would always listen to our favorite songs. We're going to dance. We're going to sing. It's going to be fun. It's going to be enjoyable. It's not going to be this chore. It's not going to be hard. Like, we would romanticize the freaking process of cleaning our space in our home. And I would love to do it. I would crave to clean more. I loved the process of cleaning. Even when she wasn't there, I would do the same routine and I'd be super excited. And also, like, she would very much so acknowledge, like, when the place was clean, she'd be like, look at how beautiful it is. We're going to have people over, like, really acknowledge what we really did there. And I got to see like, wow, yeah, it actually is beautiful when we do clean like this versus like my dad, there wasn't no acknowledgement. It was just like clean and then go to your room. Like, it wasn't like, look at how beautiful it is now, like acknowledgement. It wasn't any of that. But when I acknowledge it and I say, wow, like, look at the things that I did, or wow, we romanticized the process, all of that, I craved wanting to do it. I really felt good about myself. I felt like I did something and I wanted to do it again. Okay. So coming back to, that was a whole rant. Sorry guys, but coming back to, I really want you to look at the things that you're doing in your life, whether it's small or big, as the way that my mom taught me is, wow, look at what you did. Look at how this is changing your life. Look at even on your hardest days, you got up and you forgave yourself. You let your emotions out. You tried again and you tried again and you tried again. You listened to a podcast, you did this, you whatever, okay? I need you to really acknowledge that you are in the midst, you are in the thick of it, you are changing, you are evolving, and you're doing it. Remind yourself of that. That is really going to take you around that corner. So with that said, I hope these tips, advice, different obstacles and examples can help you through a time of change. And I just want to like remind you that you asked for this, okay? Whether you really know it or not, you asked for this, okay? And you are getting exactly what you asked for, even if it feels like it's messy and you're not getting it and whatever. I promise you, the dream life, the things that you are really wanting is on the other side of all of this. But do not try and run away from this process. This process can be fun. It can be expansive. It can be a learning lesson. It's all happening for you. Okay? So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.